Welcome everyone to Trekyards Mission Briefing. It is Wednesday. We're going to look at a Star Trek ship. You didn't think that was the case? You came expecting a song and dance routine? No. We surprised you. It is Wednesday. Ship time. Hi Stuart, how you doing? And what do we first look, review, analyse, discussing today? Because it's all what we did in the show.
Today we're looking at a interesting design, as we tend to do here. We're going to look at the Akyazi Class today.
And I failed to say that earlier, and thank you for knowing how to say it, because...
Sure. That's fine. It's a perimeter action ship. I'm not exactly sure the exact history of this ship. It's been around for a while. I'm not sure if it's FASA. I don't believe it is. I'm not sure where it cropped up originally. But it's got an interesting design for sure, and it's movie era. But it's got some very un-movie era elements that, well, it's modified them so that they're not just the standard cut and paste kit bash kind of
design. Yeah, I've seen this for years as well, and it's certainly one of the more original styles because it is stylistically different almost in every way, and yet being stylistically the same in almost every way, which is great. I guess that'll be my summary. I actually quite like it, and I haven't looked at it in much detail yet, but it looks cool. What do you think of it as a design then, if it is going off the norm?
I love that, because not every ship would have the same elements. They would be experimenting with different, newer technologies. Different ships would have different functions and therefore different elements. And this is designed to be a fast, perimeter action ship, so... I do love the restyled look. They could have gone simply kit bash cut and paste, but they didn't. They changed elements. They curved things. They added things that really make it unique and make it its own.
Now, do you want to know the funny old thing here? This was obviously designed after or a long time ago. This has so many NX-01 stylings.
Mm-hmm.
It has the pontoon, the split hull, the impulse crystal in the middle, and the flatter back piece of the saucer, which would might have impulse engines in it, might see that in a minute, and the cutout for the deflector. So actually, it's very NX-y.
Yeah.
Before the NX, and that which doubles down it's making sense in the universe that you would take stylings from other ships, and that's it's pretty clever, really.
And I know there is a lot written about this ship. I've got some facts here as well, but we will take a look at the ship first, and then we'll get into those. So, I know it was built for high warp military engagements, so it is fast. That's what its main. And I guess you can kind of tell by the shape. It's very squat, and actually the profile, when we get to that, looks very, very similar to the NX-01.
Called it.
Yeah. Let's go to the next picture. Now, there is a different variation of this ship, which has these drop-down things. They're long and slender, and there's nothing in between them, really, so I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of them is. But I thought I'd include it here to show that there are some variants of this design. The main version of the Akyazi doesn't have those drop-down parts, though. So that's the main one we're going to focus on. This one here that you see now, the USS San Diego, if you notice the deflector's gone. It's just photon torpedo launchers there. And there are a few small subtle differences, but it's obviously the same design style. I just thought I'd include that to show that there is variance of this design.
It feels like a smaller ship as well. I mean, it's interesting because having those drop-down pieces, and I skipped a little bit ahead to see another view. It does very much feel like the bee, the wasp, the
wasp, yeah, Bill Krause's design,
which was based on a older design with a similar thing, and he just really clever did it. So, yeah, I guess there's meant to be phaser or torpedo turrets. I mean, I'm sure we'll see in a minute. It's weird to think of such a thing that isn't a secondary hull. It always makes sense to have a secondary hull there, but it does not, as we know. But this is certainly I want to scroll back to them for a second and then just let the audience sort of see them back to this one. They are quite different, actually. This one feels... The first one feels like a more fleshed out TMP. This next one feels like a more simplified... It is a simplified model, but it takes the basics of it and highlights them, whereas the first one takes the TMP literally and builds onto it. So it's a a different interpretation of the same style and actually do feel different. But I kind of like that new bridge module for the second one. Don't know why.
Yeah, it almost feels like the bridge isn't on top of this one. It's almost
maybe
recessed a little bit, which is nice. But yeah, the standard one does have the standard kind of bridge module. It's a little bit different, but
yeah.
Speaking of, we'll go to the next picture. This has a little bit of information on the ship as well. It says here that it was used for holding off belligerent starships until heavier vessels came to its aid. So, well armed and fast enough to kind of evade. It said its speed can even rival the Excelsior class ships. Interesting to know. And I love the differentiation of the warp nacelles. How they're so unique. They even have like a fin, which almost feels like plating, armor plating of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a. Yeah. It's a good. I mean, those nacelles you would assume would be the original colony would be the bestest, the strongest. I mean, we look at the era. The Reliant shares, but it's a very similar ship. The Excelsior is different, and the Oberth's different. So, different mission profiles do have different. So this having different, yeah. To me, they do look very efficient. Even with the under grill and stuff, they just look very minimalistic. To this is what we need to get this power done. Whereas but I would assume it would have a lot less longevity. Whereas the TMP ones feel very much like this is a good all rounder. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing I noticed about these before we go to the next picture is there's no real inner grill facing each other. There's a little bit at the back. So I think this negates the whole line of sight rule as well, because there's no real line of sight between the grills. But anyway.
Most-ish designers don't use it or think about it. And obviously a lot in the olden days wouldn't even know it before the internet, before you could disseminate information as much.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be told by somebody that Gene or whoever wanted line of sight rules. It's quite a specific thing.
Yeah. But if we go to the next picture, we get a little sense of scale. There it is beside a Constitution class cruiser. And there you can see the similarities between it and the NX-01 in the profile. Very flat, squat ship, again, made for speed.
Those engines are great. Those nacelles are really great.
They're like the refit one cut in half at the back. The bottom half taken off.
It's a great looking shape actually. It does what it says on the tin, but the saucer is single deck, but it just slims down what's there already. But it's still, you can still see it as very much relating to what already existed. There's still a, yeah.
Well, it's got a complement of 84 crew, so very minimalistic crew. So worth pointing that out. Go to the next picture. We got some, again, different views of it. But JACA 2 phaser banks. Those are interesting.
Those are the things that are sticking out of the nacelles.
Warp field reflectors.
Sure. Yep.
Some very cool design elements here, I think, for sure. I love the curved struts. Again, like I said, they could have just gone cut and paste and just put in regular refit style, just straight up. But I kind of like the subtle curve.
Well, if you go to the next picture, you can see them even better. I mean, they do fit with the styling of the ship. They're a little bit too organic, but it does still fit. It feels very like this is the optimum design for warp field, even if it's not the prettiest design for warp field, if you know what I mean.
Because in the NX-01, that center crystal is the warp sustainer, or the...
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and here it's the impulse amplification crystal like it is on the Enterprise at the back of the saucer. So more advanced tech, obviously, but very similar to the NX-01 design. Next one just has some technical specifications, where it was built, overall dimensions.
Warp 8 standard. 14 max, but warp 21.5 battle max. That's not well thought out at all. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's interesting to say the least.
But only is meant to last 2 years. or 3.25 years. That's definitely a low term use.
Yeah.
Huh.
6 phaser banks. Well, standard phaser banks, I guess. Independent twin mount, and then 2 other banks. 3 photon torpedo tubes.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's starting to be built only 9 days after my birthday.
Nice.
In the future, and it only took just over a year and a bit to build. Quick. Good job, team. Oh, and then commissioned. Wait, it was launched. So had a full year of shakedown. It's interesting. Launch then commissioned was different.
Yeah. Next shot is an unfinished render, but this shows off those lower, and I don't know what they do. They don't seem to have any function. There's something attached to the bottom of them, which would have been cool if it was like a pod like on the Reliant.
Which I have seen before. I have seen that sort of low pod. I feel like it would have been smart. This is the simpler model that we saw a little bit earlier on. I feel like the deflector is now missing from the inner cutout. If these had been blue strips of deflector, like, because it's not a lot of surface area, but, teeny deflector dish materials, and all the bottoms be a deflector we've also seen. But if they want to have those be the blue glows, and then the middle bit be a torpedo launch, that'd be quite interesting. Or the bottom be a deflector, also interesting. Or if it was a mini secondary hull, or if it was we just looked at or we have / will do / just did, depending on when it's released, a tug. You could add a little cargo pod on there, because it wouldn't be as much of a big pod, but you can imagine this is a fast response. You put a flat pack pod of weapons, of food. This goes into the planet's atmosphere and just drops it. In a situation where you can't use transporters, shuttles are too long, you just attach a small pod and it flies in, drops it, and it parachutes down or something.
Yeah.
Small enough, but you could do something big enough.
Well, as we've talked about with the tugs, like you said, there are different pods available. You could have a marine pod loaded up with marines for getting to the planet really fast. Also weapons pods, so you can pull different things into battle. And the nature of those lower parts seems to me like it's very adaptable for many different missions. You can change them out as you need to. Nice shot of it here approaching a planet. You get to see it from the back. Looks like an odd impulse engine design, but you can see the phaser turrets on the back, and the rear photon torpedo launcher there.
Which is actually kind of cool to be there. I was expecting impulse drives either side of the, the NX style, but I guess single back works. But I would totally have them either side and have a single, like, one-room shuttle bay at the back, just in case. That feels like a pod that you could put in.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any shuttle bays at all. No mention was made of shuttles in the other things. So,
but I guess just a center of mass single impulse is enough. Guess so.
Yeah. Well, it's a smaller ship, right? So, all right. So the next picture is a deck view of the ship.
Speaking of size.
Yeah. So what, you got like 6 decks? That's it.
Well, I think the bottom deck is technology, so it's only 4.
It's like the smaller size. It reminds me of the Archer class, like the Sagittarius. Very small little ship, which I have no problem with, especially for its purpose. That's also why it's so fast, because it's nothing to move around.
You'd have all variations of size, or you should do. Yeah, for sure.
And this last picture is just a great shot of it leaving a planet, but this is actually the one without the deflector. There are different ones that have the deflector between the photon torpedo tubes. Yeah. Multi-purpose ship for sure. And the small size, I think, speaks to that. You can adapt it as you need to very quickly on the fly, I would imagine. Just pump these. It's like playing Star Trek Armada. You can make the smaller ships really quick, and they're cannon fodder. Just go do your thing. Patrol, find the base. We'll take care of it later with the big ships.
Yeah,
it's kind of the vibe I get from this. So,
no, it's cool.
Cool little ship.
Yeah, it's a really nice reinventing the wheel and yet keeping the wheel. You could see this absolutely being in Star Trek 3, flying by the in space dock. 100%. So it's a clever ship.
Cool. All right, guys, let us know what you think about this ship. Did you like it? If so, share the video around. Don't forget to click the like button.
Do you know
That
where
helps.
it came from originally? Are you that person?
If you do, put in the comments down below. We look forward to reading them,
Yes.
hearing your thoughts on it, and learning a little bit more about it. Because I didn't have much time to research. I was just getting some shots of it. So anyway, please do all that, and don't forget to check all the links down below. There's lots going on. We got social media. You guys can go check out Facebook and Discord and everything. It's all down below.
And we have a couple of ways to support, and I'll say half of them. You can say the other half, Stuart. So you can support us on Patreon. It's a monthly donation service. A lot of YouTubers like us use them to directly support content we make. You like this stuff, you want to support it and get more, that's the way. Or you can join our YouTube lives. We do them every single week, looking at Discovery and non-Discovery. Orville we're going to do when that comes out, season 2. Cool stuff. And then you can super chat for a little bit of money to get your comment heard, read out live, and it helps the channel directly. And there's 2 ways. What other ways are there, Stuart?
Well, there's an Eagle Moss link down below. If you want to pick up some cool Eagle Moss ships of some of your favorite designs, you can click that link, head on over, and use the code
Like this, the first one I had close by.
Ooh, I have that one too. That's one of the ones I'm going to be reviewing next. Check out the reviews every Friday at noon. But anyway, if you want to pick up some Eagle Moss ships, do so. And at checkout, use the discount code Trekyards. All that information is down below. Also, Loot Crate. You can save yourself 10% off Star Trek Mission Crates should you want to order some in the future. Lots of cool stuff in the description, so check that out. All the social media and everything is down there. Every video. Go look. So until next time, guys.
Yes.
I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Coggins.
Bye.